Okay, if you've been keeping up with my past videos, I'm sure by now you've heard of me talking about Helium 5G. And if you haven't, well, maybe you should watch some of my previous videos because this is probably one of the most slept on ways to make a lot of money in crypto. So in today's video, I just want to go over how much I'm making from mining Helium 5G and how that's going for me, some crazy news that I found out, and how you guys can possibly start doing this as well. So make sure you guys watch the whole video through and be sure to subscribe and smash that like button because I make videos all about money, investing, crypto, and right now a lot about Helium 5G. So let's get into it. Okay, so essentially the number one question I've been getting is how much do I make from mining these Helium mobile tokens? Well, before I share that information with you guys, there's a couple things you need to know about Helium 5G first, because there seems to be a lot of confusion around it. Now, people in crypto have this tendency to make things more complicated than it should be. I mean, everything you need to know is in the title, Helium 5G. Helium is the company and they're working on a 5G component. Simple as that. But I know a lot of people want to know more of the specifics, so basically what it is Helium wants to provide 5G coverage to the world. Kind of like how these big telecom companies do it, like AT&T, T-Mobile, and Verizon. They provide us connection that powers our phones and allows us to text people, view videos, and browse the internet. And essentially that's what Helium wants to do as well, but in the crypto space. With Helium 5G, you'll be able to purchase these coverage plans, but you'll also be able to earn crypto with it as well. So essentially it's like a win-win. While you're browsing, texting, or watching videos on your devices, you'll now be able to earn crypto as well, essentially this new mobile token, which is actually a really cool concept, and they're calling themselves the first crypto carrier, and if it goes big, it'll go really big because there's nothing like this out there. Now, that's what they're working on, but how does that affect us, the individual who wants to capitalize off what they're doing? Well, essentially, to provide this coverage, they need help from people like us who can install these hotspots or antennas in our homes or offices that provide coverage for their network. And for doing that, they're rewarding us with these Helium mobile tokens, which will be the coin for their 5G component. Now, I'm not going to go too in-depth into this because I've talked about this in my previous videos, but basically you can install these miners at your home or any location, and Helium will pay you for having this miner online. And because we're in this genesis phase right now, we have the ability to earn the most of these mobile tokens, which I'll be getting into later in the video. So how much am I making from these miners? Now, currently I have one outdoor miner, and that's making me about 22 to 25,000 Helium mobile tokens per day. Now, I recently just got another one, and I finally just got it all up and running, which has now brought up my total daily earnings to about 45,000 mobile tokens per day, which is really good, but I think I'm gonna get another one because go big or go home, right? But in all seriousness, the thing is, I'm making all that mobile tokens per day, but there's no value to it because the tokens haven't been released yet. Now, you might be asking yourself, Fars, why are you spending all this money to buy these miners just to mine something that doesn't have any value? Well, the answer is one word: potential. But before I explain that, I had a lot of people message me and ask me where I got my miner. Now, I got mine from Helium Deploy. You guys can get them from other places as well, but the reason I chose them was because they have 2-day shipping and I wanted to get this as soon as possible. Now, if you guys want to get the same exact one I got, I'll put a link to it down below. And remember, if you guys use a promo code FA25, you guys can get $25 off your purchase. Now, I know it's not a lot, but at least it's something, right? Now, I also made a whole setup video where I go through step by step on how you guys can install these miners. So if you guys want to follow along that video, I suggest getting the same one I got. That way it'll be easier for you guys. Like I said, I'll put a link to it down below. Now, back to what I meant by potential. So a couple weeks ago, Bobcat released a price estimate saying that the mobile token might be launched at a price of 0.004 cents. And that's what a lot of people are saying as well. Now, I can go ahead and say that with my 45,000 mobile tokens per day, I'm going to be making $180 a day equivalent. But that's not really accurate. There's no guarantee that that's what the price will be, and that's how much money I'll make in dollars. Now, you can look at it two ways. You can look at it like, oh, I'm mining a coin that has essentially no value, so why would I take that risk? Or you can look at it like, I'm mining this brand new project that a lot of people don't even know existed, which is being started by one of the largest crypto companies in the world, who's raised $200 million for this project, who's also partnered with T-Mobile, and a company that's legit leaving their own blockchain to go to Solana's blockchain, just so they can handle all this project. I assume you know where I stand with this. Now, Helium also posted this picture that mentions how the value is being added to their tokens. Now, once the 5G network goes live, as you can see, it goes from a new customer getting a Helium mobile plan, which then increases the value of the mobile token, which then adds more coverage and then lowers the cost, and then the cycle just repeats all over again. Now, I also took the liberty to read the GitHub paper they posted, and in there it mentioned how one mobile token is equivalent to roughly 0.0006 HNT. Now, taking into account the price of Helium right now, which is about $5, if we multiply 0.0006 times 5, we get a mobile token price of about 0.003 cents. Now, remember, this is all still an estimate, but I just wanted to show you guys that this is what they posted on their own paper. Now look, I know it's a huge risk and these miners aren't cheap, you know, dishing out a couple grand is no joke, and then taking into account all the installing, which I do walk you through, so it's not too bad. I can see why people will turn the other way. But for me, the reward or the potential reward outweighs all of that. Plus, I just saw on the Helium Deploy website where they're adding a buyback feature where they legit buy back your hotspot you purchased from them and give you an extra $1,200 on top, which basically removes all of your risk and gives you profit on top. The only thing is your antenna has to be fully registered though. But I don't know, for me, like, you see all these people who became filthy rich in crypto and all they did was be early to a project, and for me, I think this is a really good shot at that. Now, as I mentioned, the other thing I want to talk about is the Genesis phase. Now, if you don't know what the Genesis phase is, it's basically where we'll be able to earn the most of these mobile tokens, close to 100 million tokens per day to be exact. Now, currently at the time of this recording, the Genesis phase ends in about 30 days. Now, I know that's not a lot of time, especially if you're just getting your miners now or you still have to order yours, but I might have some good news for you guys. Now, I talked about this in my last week's video, but I was scrolling through the Helium Discord server and some people were talking about how the Genesis phase might be extended. Now, that's ultimately up to Helium and how long they'll need, but if it does get extended, that's technically a good thing for us because now we'll have more time to earn these mobile tokens. Now, remember, this is just what people are mentioning in the chat. We don't really know if this will happen, so if you guys are thinking of getting a miner soon, I suggest getting it as soon as possible. That way you can capitalize on being in the Genesis phase right now. Now, as I was filming this right now, I just got a notification saying there was an interview posted on Helium's Twitter where they were talking more about Helium 5G and the future of it. Now, that interview was close to an hour long. Let's just say 2 times speed came in clutch, but basically they talked more about how they aim to be a phone provider like AT&T or Verizon. Basically what I talked more about towards the beginning of this video. Now, they also went super technical too, which I don't think a lot of you guys would be interested in, but if you guys do want to hear that interview out, I'll put a link to it down below. But one thing I did hear in the call, which they mentioned very discreetly, like I legit had to rewatch it a couple times just so I can pick up on it, but it was how they plan to launch their Helium mobile plan in early Q1, which will be early 2023, which is a good thing for us who are mining because now we have more time to earn these mobile tokens. Now, the thing is, we don't know if the Genesis phase will go on for that long or if they might end the Genesis phase and we'll be earning mobile tokens just on the coverage, so that's something we have yet to find out. Also, Helium just dropped their What is 5G YouTube video. Now, this is pretty much just an explainer of what 5G is and what they're aiming to do with it. It was actually a super well shot video, so if you guys want to check it out, I highly suggest you guys do so. But the thing is, they did the same thing 2 years ago when they posted their video on What is Helium, which has close to 1 million views. And it was after that video was released, we saw all that hype come into those previous Helium hotspots that made everything just go crazy. So my thought is just a matter of time till people see the potential and not only what Helium is doing with 5G, but also in the potential of how much they can make from this. Because remember, we're still super early in the process. There's only about 6,000 of these miners still out there. And when I started 2 weeks ago, there was only 4,000. So we're growing fast. Now, because this is a lot of new stuff, I anticipate a lot of news to be coming out pretty rapidly. So what I suggest, if you guys are interested in this, or if you have your own miner and want to follow along, follow Helium on Twitter and join their mobile token waitlist. That's what I did. That way you can be the first to any news, or you can always just follow me because, you know, I'll always keep you guys updated. Remember, if you guys do end up wanting to buy one of these miners, I'll put a link to it down below. Remember, $25 off if you use the promo code FA25. But I hope you guys were able to learn something from this video. If you guys do have any questions, feel free to leave them down below, or you guys can always DM me on Instagram. But for those of you who are planning on getting one of these miners, you guys can check out my setup video where I talk about exactly how you guys can set this up by clicking right over here. And for those of you who just want more information, you you guys can check out that video by clicking right over here. But I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in next week's video. Peace.